Hello and a very warm welcome to another edition of Talking Germany, the show where we do just that. And our guest here in the studio today is a man who is both a comedian and a medical doctor, bringing the two together to create a whole new genre, medical cabaret, which can be both hilarious and very enlightening. So without any further ado, let me introduce you to Eckart von Hirschhausen.
Hello.
Eckart, thank you very, very much for joining us today. Now, I should add that aside from being a TV celebrity here in Germany, voted one of the 100 most popular Germans by one poll, no less, Eckart von Hirschhausen has also written some best-selling, very amusing, very thought-provoking books, including the latest on that eternal question, what is happiness? Eckart von Hirschhausen, let's get one question out of the way before we get going. What's it like being a comedian in a country where people, especially outside Germany, say the Germans don't have a sense of humour?
It's a very comfortable situation, actually. I think Germans are far better than their reputation. And I lived in England for a year. That was my turning point in my personal history because I learned stand-up comedy at the very natural roots. Mm-hmm. And I think the Germans like to laugh.
It's not really true that they don't have a sense of humour at all, is it, though? Although you, in one of your sketches, you say the following: Germans are people who even moan about people moaning too much.
That's right. I have my personal theory that we're somehow, when you look at the fact that Germany is about the top 5 richest countries in the world, but on the World Happiness Index, we're on place 35. So we're doing something wrong, but I'm trying to push up the national spirits.
But what about you, just quickly? You've got a sense of humour. Were you born with it or have you cultivated it?
It's always a mixture I have a very humorous family, and I think that helps. You learn humour at childhood. I have 2 elder brothers. When you're the weakest, you have to learn how to defend yourself, not with a physical strength. And so I developed it. I collected jokes ever since I was a child. And so I am in my brain I have a storage of completely useless jokes, and when the situation arises, I have something ready.
What, if anything, do doctors and comedians have in common?
They have a lot in common. I think the most important thing for a doctor and a comedian is your skill of observation. Because in the moment you look at the patient, when you're a skilled doctor, you know many things that without talking about them. And the same is true for a comedian. When you look at the situation, the doctor always asks himself, is it healthy or unhealthy? Is he sick or is he well? And the comedian always asks himself, whenever I see a situation, is it funny or not? So a lot of comedy is not thinking up something new, rather than watching precisely and putting to words something that many people have already noticed. For example, in my new program, I have a number about people in elevators. How silly we behave the moment the door shuts. We are behaving like on a funeral. Everyone, don't move, don't say a word. It's silly, and people recognize it. And I don't have to think up something. I just have to watch.
And do you watch generously, or are you looking at people's weaknesses, their funny little quirks? Are you looking at me now and then collecting my quirks? Yeah.
No, we cannot tickle ourselves. As a neurologist, it has an explanation. We are not able to surprise ourselves when we tickle us.
I've never thought of that before.
Yeah, but you can tickle somebody else. Yeah. So if you want to laugh with somebody, you have to have a court jester, somebody who is like a mirror to yourself and shows you something about yourself that you haven't been looking at.
OK, that's observations, that's seeing how people are, all their foibles, as we were talking about. What about actually thinking up jokes? In my life, I must confess, maybe I think on a good day I can actually amuse people, but I haven't thought up a joke in my whole life. How do you think up jokes?
It's a craft like any other craft that grows with practice. I've been starting as a child and I performed magic and I created jokes going along with the tricks, and then I realized the trick is not the important thing. It's the story that you tell. The human being is a storytelling animal. We love stories. We like to laugh. It brings people together. And so I watch many comedians. You can train your humor by by observational skills, by watching good people at work. You can train it by collecting material that you like and practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall? The old joke. Practice, practice, practice.
We talked about the German sense of humour. My feeling is that in the last decade or so, Germans have become much more relaxed. Have they? You're talking about the process of learning to make jokes. Have Germans learnt to laugh more? Have they eased up?
Yeah, very much so. I think that the atmosphere in Germany is loosening up. It's lightening up. The national Weltmeisterschaft, how do you say the World Championship?
What a watershed that was.
Yeah. That was a global signal that we're far from the humorless German that many people know. And I think something which is now happening that was unthinkable 10 years ago, that Germany is exporting comedy formats on TV. For example, Genial daneben, a round with comedians talking about funny questions, is now being exported. Who would have predicted that Germany is exporting comedy?
That's quite something, isn't it? Yeah. A yes or no answer. My children are at the age where they might be thinking about what career to choose. Mm-hmm. Would you say go for medicine? Yes or no?
Yes. I still think it's one of the most fascinating things you can study. It's one of the most...
Let's stop there. And we'll come back to it in just a second, yeah? Because the reason I'm asking is that one thing I must tell you is that there aren't, despite what Eckart von Hirschhausen is saying here, there aren't enough doctors to go around here in Germany. The trend first became apparent in rural areas where people have had to travel ever greater distances to get the treatment they need. Let's just go back to the word you were searching for about doctors. Go on, tell me.
I've been hitting the back of my head.
Being a doctor can be...
rewarding. That was the word I was looking for.
OK, but we've got a serious problem. We've just watched this report here. Why are there so few doctors?
When I started studying medicine about 20 years ago now, I was told that half of us will be unemployed. So the motivation for us was really destroyed. And this happens, unfortunately, still up to the day, that many very motivated people are thrown into a system which is still very organized, very many rules,
hierarchical. Yeah.
I've been studying in a hospital in London, and there is much more freeness among the doctors. Where there's hierarchy, it's about competence and not about, oh, he's my chief, so I cannot say anything personal. So I think...
Is it about money?
A bit, yeah.
How much does a German hospital doctor earn?
They're earning more in the UK and more in Norway. So we have a brain drain from Germany, from well-educated doctors, to other European countries. And that is part of the problem.
Is it just about money, though? Don't they want to serve people?
In Germany you still have a lot of legislation, you have a lot of documents to fill out, and that's part of the job.
But regulations. Red tape.
It's something that... immediately is unappealing for creative, for humanitarian motivated people. So I think we have a serious problem, and I try to alleviate the problem in hospital with my foundation, Humor Helps Healing, by putting some stress management courses even to the doctors and the staff, because they are staying in the hospital all the time when the patients come and go, but they want to keep up the atmosphere.
That's interesting. You're a TV star here in Germany. When you sense that you're... everybody I've ever worked with on TV admits that at some stage they get nervous. Before you go on air, if you sense you're nervous, what do you do? What's the trick?
Keep on breathing.
Keep on breathing, yeah? You know what I do?
What do you do?
I force myself to smile. And the forced smile actually relaxes the muscles in your face. Yeah, it's a good trick. Yeah?
That's a forced smile. When you're really bad temper, put on a fake smile. No, what I do is singing. Singing is to me one of the most stress relieving things. I sing to myself. I imagine myself as a tool. So it's not about you personally, but you're serving a bigger purpose, and that helps.
That's an interesting one. Okay. I'm not going to ask Eckart von Hirschhausen what he thinks of it, because he just told me it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, laughter is the best medicine, as they say, and laughter immediately relieves all the symptoms of stress in the body. So it's something that we should do as often as possible.
Okay, I'm going to throw a name at you. Have you heard of a man called Dr. Madan Kataria?
Yeah, he was the founder of laughter yoga in India, and he spread it through the world, and now even Germany has been infected.
Yep. Have you ever met him personally?
I met him. I took a class, and I have to admit, when you look at it on the screen, it looks really strange.
You took a class yourself?
Yeah.
You've been doing all of this?
Yeah, I wanted to ho, ha, ha, ha.
And it worked?
It's strange at the beginning, but then there's a mystical point when you, they say, fake it until you make it. And there's some truth in it. You start off a very unnatural, mechanical laughter, and there's the turning point when all of a sudden people, in fact, vice versa, and then there's a magic moment and everybody laughs generously.
That's great. I'm learning a lot of things today. Fake it until you make it. That's very good. Yeah. Let's go back.
That applies in many situations, Peter.
Let's go back to your organisation, Humour Helps Healing.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
There was a famous guy in the US, Patch Adams, who said the historical word, a hospital is not a good place for a sick person. And that's true, because the atmosphere in the hospital is always concentrated on the body and not on the soul. And my foundation is based on the idea that clowns bring laughter into hospitals, not only for children, but for old people as well. It works for the parents, it works for the relatives, for the staff. It's just one little moment in the day, in the routine day, that with the anarchy of the clown, of the jester, brings a little bit of relief. And I try to prove it. Humour Helps Healing promotes research, and we try to get the data. So in the future, it will not be something that it's nice to have, but something essential.
And I know that people can just type your name into a search engine on the internet, and they're going to get quick access to this, and they're going to be able to make a contribution. Okay. Your latest cabaret routine is called in German Liebesbeweise.
Yeah, the proofs of love.
Proofs of love. You've got one sentence to advertise your show.
It's again a mixture of medical wisdom with everyday life and comedy.
That's nice. I hope it lasts. Yeah. Are you a romantic sort of a guy?
Yes, I admit. And one of my favorite comedians in England, John Hagley, said about a love poem, the most romantic thing I can say about you is, you are the one I want to have problems with.
Oh. How many times have you been head over heels in love in your life?
Oh, seriously? I think 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times. When I wrote this question, it prompted me to think as well. We're pretty much equal there. 3 times in my life.
But it wears off in the lifetime, and that's a natural development. I mean, people in their 50s say, "Oh, I haven't been head over heels in love again." Well, they're not taking drugs anymore at 50, so it's something that you do between 15 and 25. That's natural.
Is love happiness or torture?
Both. I think our ideas of romantic love are a torture, because they are overestimating what a human being can do. When you're expecting somebody else to make you happy, and you see, oh, I'm not happy, so it's the wrong person. What a lot of rubbish is in our heads. Romeo and Julia are the perfect couple. I mean, they never had to shop together. They never lived together. So it's easy to be the perfect couple when you're dead.
They had a lot of problems with their families, though, didn't they?
Yeah.
We've been beating about the bush a little bit. We've been talking about it, but what is happiness?
Happiness in German is Glück, and it's a very unhappy word, because in English you have pleasure, luck, and happiness. It's 3 different qualities. Fortune, in the meaning of Fortuna, the goddess of the happy moment with her head towards the front. Yeah. So when she's passing by, you have to grab her. When she's gone, you can't grab her anymore. So I think there's not a single word in the German language that is so unprecise than Glück. So I have been thinking about this a lot, and the book hasn't been translated, but if you read German, Glück kommt selten allein.
Eckart von Hirschhausen, medical doctor, cabaretist, philosopher. Let me just remind you that there's also a Talking Germany website where you'll find all the blogs I've written about my guests, including, of course, Eckart von Hirschhausen.
If you like Talking Germany, you can find out more on the internet. Our host Peter Craven is keeping a blog on the many shows and guests of the series. Find out more about what happens behind the scenes, gossip, experiences, and how the whole show is put together. Just visit blogs.dw-world.de/talkinggermany. And you can tell us what you think about the program there too.
And after that, it's time for our quiz. Eckart, quick questions, quick answers. What do you prefer, comedians or clowns?
Comedians.
Do you find it easier to laugh about yourself or about other people?
About myself.
Health or wealth?
Health.
Sigmund Freud or Charlie Chaplin?
Chaplin.
Who should earn more, doctors or cabaret artists?
I'm trying to combine the two.
A sense of humour is something you're born with or something you learn?
Something you learn. And most of the time you cut it off. I think everybody's born with it.
Comedians are funny people or sad people?
They're observational people.
Okay. That's been Eckart von Hirschhausen, our guest today. A very funny, a very intelligent man. If you've enjoyed his company as much as I have, come back next week. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I get the red nose now.
You earned the red nose, Peter. Thank you very much.